What's up, people? Today we are finally gonna be talking about the Crow reboot, which was actually a really good. Now, I'm not even, I was even gonna do like a joke title, be like peak cinema, and it was gonna be like all caps. I can't do that with this one. This one was a straight up dog shit. It's all the shits combined. It is the one of the worst films I've like ever seen ever. It was lifeless. You wasted poor Bill Skarsgård. The fact that he looked like basically a SoundCloud rapper the entire fucking movie bothered me. Shelley, fundamentally, what the real fundamental problem with this film, besides it existing, and the fucking angry part. I said it on Pin Down yesterday. I'm gonna be fucking screaming. I might be screaming some points in this video. Um, just the fundamental fact that they made Shelley and Eric fucking degenerates, druggies, the entire movie. So this is their whole arc, the entire movie. So they basically, because apparently they didn't want a fucking fridger, which is this SJW term for if you kill off a female character just to be the catalyst for the male character, which for one, it's not just male characters. That's the thing, right? I mean, obviously Superman's parents, not the big one, Bruce's parents, i.e., there was a male who died too, by the fucking way. The whole point was man, I'm gonna be scattered this entire video. This movie is so fucking angry. Okay. Let me get my thoughts together. The fact they actually because I knew about the leaks. The script leaked months ago, like either late last year or early this year. I remember the leaks. I was talking about it with some people. And then when the trailers came out, the leaks were true. Even more. But it's even worse here, dude. It's worse than the leaks because they make him. So Eric's whole arc is that there's random opening where he finds his horse, I guess, in barbed wire, which has no point in the movie. There's no actual point. It's called back. It's a random opening for no fucking reason. I'm not saying you can't show animals dying in movies. I'm not one of those people. I'm not saying you can't do that, but for me, there has to be a point to it. I do think I get when you just kill animals for no fucking point, and it doesn't, or just even if you, let's say, found one of his friends killed or something, it would have, and it doesn't add anything to the story. I don't. That's what it was here. It adds nothing, and I guess apparently it's from the fucking comics, but it has no. I mean, I don't know how it is in the comics. I don't know if maybe it's more of a bearing in the comics. It has no bearing here. It doesn't fucking matter. Then he gets bullied in this rehab center the entire fucking film, so it's so bad. And Eric is kind of a bitch this entire fucking film. He's a mopey bitch who doesn't know what to do. Even when he gets the powers, he's just a mopey bitch the entire film. He has no confidence in himself. It is insane. Like you can't root. This is the fundamental problem with this film. There's no one to root for because Eric and Shelley are both just, I'm gonna say it, they're degenerates because they get together at the rehab center. They escape because she sees the person who works for her boss, who, by the way, has superpowers too. So they decided and the actor they got for it, he's the guy who played Stryker in X-Men Day and Origins Wolverine, and he was in 30 Days of Night. He was the main vampire in that film. Good actor. He was not needed in this movie. He barely has a presence. He just kind of says boring, generic lines. And the fact he has powers, just when that's first scene, he shows his powers. He basically can, put voices in. It's mind control. It's some form of mind control where he can, put voices in your head and convince you to do so. Generally, a lot of the time, he convinces you to, kill yourself or something like that. Or delete yourself for fucking YouTube. For the YouTube gods. But it really he has no impact in this entire film. And Eric and Shelley, it's more of lust. It doesn't feel like they're actually in love compared to the original, where granted, you don't get a lot of Shelley as a character in the original. She's dead. Like pretty much the moment you meet her, she's already. Well, she's not immediately dead. She's like obviously a little bit alive because we find out later she's alive for 30 hours, but she was beaten up. You don't really get to know her as a character besides what happened to her. But in flashes, in the bit you kind of get the vibe they were together for a while and then they get killed on the eve of their wedding day. That's what made it so tragic, is these two characters who are actually good people in this sea of trash and criminality and violence. That was the whole fucking point. And the fact that you undo that, the city is just generic city. Um, Shelley has no redeeming qualities. I don't think either of them do. You don't get the sense they're in love. They're like in lust. They were just fucking doing drugs, drinking for 2 fucking weeks. That's about what it feels like. 2 weeks, a week, I don't know. And then they get killed. And the way they even get killed is weak. They get killed by suffocated in a bag. Very just fucking weak. It's like what happened to Shelley in the original is tragic. Like even what happened to Eric, he gets shot and then thrown out the window. Shelley gets beaten and, raped. She gets the violence is done to her. The whole point of the movie is the level of violence that's done to her is to a point where it's so tragic that you can't go on because it needs to be avenged, basically. That's saying in the film. And then that's what, none of that applies in this one. You don't care for Eric and Shelley. They're just, I'm going to say it, they're degenerates. The fact that they're fucking degenerates defeats the purpose. When in the original, Shelley was a mother to this little girl because her actual mom was doing drugs and dating one of the scumbags who ended up killing Shelley and Eric. I don't making them degenerates who this just feels like a bunch of druggies got together and I know like some people, you're hypocritical, you smoke weed. Yeah, but in the whole point of I can separate. I don't need every character to be druggies. I don't want to watch. It just feels like you don't get that sympathy. The whole point of them in the original is there are these great good people in this shitty city. Oh, fucking destroying that whole point. That's what this one does. I mean, I already knew that's what it was going to do when I saw the leaks, but it is worse when you watch it in the film. You don't get and also too, Eric and Shelley have no chemistry, and we didn't need to actually see their relationship. One thing I loved about the original is you see it in flashes, and also this film, the original, is breakneck. The moment like it opens, you get that what happened a year before, then you jump a year later. Eric wakes up, gets his powers, puts the paint on relatively, starts killing the bad guys. And that's the other thing. You want the bad guys in that original film, Top Dollar, T-Bird, Tintin. I don't remember what the other one's name was, but those guys, you wanted them to get there, especially T-Bird. T-Bird goes out so fucking violently in that original. I rewatched it last night. And the way Tintin goes out, he doesn't go out last because he's the ringleader. He gets the most violent death. He's basically taped to a car while he has like a bunch of explosives going on, and he even puts like one of them between his legs, and the car explodes, and you even find out later he's like fused to the car, and he's a charred body. Like, you want these guys to get theirs because what they did is shown. Even before he kills them, you get little like flashes of what they're doing to her and him. Mainly her. And in this, you don't fucking get that. It's just he's just killing like random goons, basically. That's what it feels like to me. It's just always killing random goons. And then there's this whole point where when he dies, he goes to this in-between world, purgatory. I don't know what the fuck you call it. I guess purgatory, that's what I'll call it. and he has like this spirit guide. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Do we need to see this? And there's really no crows in the film. The animal, the crow in the original has a point. Ugh, just it. The crow in this doesn't even matter. It's just called the crow and by name only because there's no actual crow that like leads them or no. He's indecisive because even the moment he gets powers, and I in the original when he realizes he has powers, I'm not saying he's some trained guy, but he doesn't get like his ass kicked the entire time. Hold on. Okay, anyway, I'm not saying like he's not some trained fighter, but in this one, he just gets his ass kicked the entire film till like I guess like the scene where he goes to the opera. And speaking of the music is so bad. The music was a character in that original. And I was even thinking, oh, they're gonna maybe try to throw in some of the songs, like maybe at least the Cure song or Nine Inch Nails song, Burn or Dead Souls. Nope, they didn't play either of those. They played Enya End of Time. I think that's the one song they played randomly. And like, what? And I guess they played like some, I don't know if it's like a punk song or pseudo punk song. They played something like that. The music is all over the fucking place. And then opera music when he's at the opera killing people, which is random. This whole film, I guess I don't even have any positives. I guess kind of positive is they don't hold back on the gore, but it doesn't matter when you don't care about the bad guys dying. You're not invested in Eric killing the bad guys. So it doesn't fucking matter. It's just bodies. I'll admit, like, there's a scene where he, like, slices through a dude's face and his, like, mouth caves in. Like, okay, that looks kind of brutal. But it's like, you don't care. So, I don't care personally, but you're not going to care if you see this. I personally think never watch this. There's no point in watching this movie. It's bad. You waste fucking Bill Skarsgård. He doesn't even put on a performance. He's barely a character. If anything, it's more about fucking Shelley, but not even in a good way because the actor they got to play Shelley was terrible. Apparently, FKA Twigs. I don't know why that. What the fuck? What is that name? But anyway, um, she has no presence at all in the original. Shelley is almost like I saw someone say this in a review, but Shelley is like an ethereal figure in a way. Like she's almost an angel, angelic. That was kind of the point of the character. Or at least that's what Eric saw her as. Especially in the fucking end of the film, where she he gets with her and you see her like she just comes and brings like helps him up and they're holding each other one last time. It you don't get that vibe and then also they change it. In this one, he basically stays in purgatory so she can live. It's so fucking stupid. Oh my god, this whole film is bad. It is I would what I might call this video? I'm gonna call it the anti-Crow. Because that's what this is. This is the anti-Crow film. What the original was, this is the anti of it. I would even say this is worse than City of Angels. And I hated that movie. I ripped apart that movie when I did the video on it. But this is way worse than that shit. Because at least that one somewhat had the aesthetic of the original. Or at least try to copy it. This one, there's no style. There's nothing. Even the action scenes, besides the end, a lot of it's kind of John Wick style. And it's bad, John Wick. It's ugh. The acting's bad all around. The final fight is not really even a final fight, really. It is just all around bad. Skip this at all costs. This is easily my worst film of the year. And the thing I didn't even know, apparently Lionsgate made this and Borderlands. So they made both these pieces of shit. This is worse than Borderlands, though. I would say. Sorry. Hold on. Fucking fly. Anyway. But, like, this is worse than Borderlands by far. And Madam Web. Because at least Madam Web I can kind of laugh at. There's no laughing at it. And the fucked up thing is, the reason I never wanted this to be made is what made that... The crazy thing is, what happened with that original film, right? You have the death of Brandon Lee. and the fact that they were still able to make an iconic film out of it with that tragedy. That's why I never even wanted them to make sequels, because it's like you're not going to recreate that, and then definitely now, and then this is what you get: this generic. You don't. The movie doesn't even know who's for. I'm like, is it for like a SoundCloud audience? It's definitely not for the even the Hot Topic audience. It's definitely not for the original Crow fans. This movie's for nobody. And the funny thing is, I knew it was gonna fucking bomb. No one's gonna see this. It's bombing. And it's probably gonna have a big drop next week. Probably. It'll probably be on digital here pretty soon. I don't know what Lionsgate thought by making this. This should have just been scrapped. They were smart the first time, because if you remember, they were gonna remake it originally back in like 2011. I remember I heard this back in like 2011, 2012. They wanted to remake it with Jason Momoa, when there's even a picture out there of like him in the costume, or a costume test or whatever. So apparently they wanted to make it with them, but they smartened up and were like, no, we're not doing this. But then for whatever fucking reason, they decided to pick it back up. And this is what we get. This piece of shit that destroys Shelley and Eric. So I don't even argue there's character destruction in this. You made them druggies who are just fucking each other for like 2 weeks, and then that's supposed to be love? I'm like, did Tumblr writers write this fucking film? Some cringy fanfic writers or something? Who're like, oh, I'm gonna date this bad guy. Because there's even a line in the film where she mentions, like, I ran away. One of my mistakes was, because he asked, like, what was the worst thing you did? He's like, she talked about when she ran away with some stranger. It's a great. Fuck. Eric and Shelley were supposed to be almost like the hope in that city, and the fact that they were killed is what made it so tragic, and what made it was. And also, the original was just a simple revenge story. There's too much going on, because there's even a subplot where we find out that Shelley actually did something bad. So apparently, I don't even remember the bad guy's name. I'm just gonna say Stryker from X-Men Origins, because I don't even remember his fucking name in this movie. Basically convinces her to manipulate her, does his thing where he can fucking control you. And I guess she kills somebody, because there's a video of it. Because, yeah, so we just got to show Shelley killing somebody. What the fuck? And she was mind controlled, but it was still stupid. Why? So that's what makes him lose his hope for her, because he gets shot and he doesn't come back, because I guess he lost faith in her. So fucking stupid. Oh my god. The fucking morons who wrote this movie. Go fuck yourselves. The fucking hack writers, the pieces of shit who wrote this. I like you, Bill Skarsgård, but why the fuck did you agree to be in this? This is like one of those movies that destroys resumes. Now I'm like, now this is on your resume now. Especially because he was having a pretty good streak. I don't necessarily love the It new ones as much as some others do. But, I mean, I think the one positive is, like, he was pretty good as Pennywise. And he was great in John Wick 4. And I even liked him in fucking Boy Kills World. That came out this year. So far, still my favorite film this year. So, but the funny thing is, he's in my favorite film this year. Now he's my worst film this year. Bill, you should have said no. There's a point where you just got to put your foot down, man. Because now, this is on your resume now. Ugh, fucking hate this film. I didn't even pay for it, but I feel like I want my money back. Jesus Christ. Fuck this film. This is going to be one of the other rare times I give a film a negative. This is, I could give it a 0, but I think this is worse than a 0. This is like a -1. A -1 out of 10. That's what this is. This is not good. I hope this film just gets forgotten, and I think it will, by time. By time, I even mean just within like 2-3 months from now. Even a month from now. This movie's just gonna get forgotten. People are gonna forget it fucking came out. Fuck this piece of shit. But anyway. Now I gotta go to the story. Ugh, I told you guys I was gonna be going off. I hate this film. This is like TLJ level of hate for me. I didn't. Why was this made? Anyway, so like I mentioned, this piece of shit starts. We get a random flashback of Eric finding one of his horses in a trapped in barbed wire, and he tries to save it. And the thing is, in a better movie, this could have been a good scene, but they don't call back to it at all. Like they don't. I think the most they do is there's a scene where the bad guy, I guess, is able to get his hands or whatever in his head. He's able to do that mind shit, and I guess he's able to like see his memories, and they show that. But that's it. There's no actual like. It doesn't add to the story. What was the fucking point of this scene? Like it just feels unnecessary. It's just like, why? Why is this scene here? And then we get the real start of the movie. We see Shelly. One of her friends is calling her. And I'm sorry, FKA Twigs is not an actress. Apparently she's a singer. It's like, and the funny thing is, not like she sings in the movie. She sings like the last, like, I guess, minute of the film. But that's it. No, I think there's another scene where she sings for a second, but she doesn't actually sing. So, like, why not get an actress? And she's not... Because obviously she's on the run because her friend gets captured and killed by Stryker, who apparently is like some demon. It's so fucking weird because it's like he's a mob boss, but he's actually a demon who can like mind control. Because he does it. I remember when it first happened, like what the fuck? The fuck just what? That like stunned me for a minute. I had to pause the movie. I was like, what the fuck? What is? I don't like the bad guys having superpowers. Now this is just another superhero film. I don't know if that was a studio call. I don't know if they felt like you can't just have them kill a bunch of just humans. Because the only supernatural element of the original film is the whole crow element, but you don't know too much about it. They overconvolute that. I don't necessarily need to see him get his powers. I don't need to see that. He just wakes up. That's what makes it work. It's the mystery of it all. Like, but that's the only real supernatural element. But the bad guys are regular people. Even Top Dollar is just a trained fighter, but he's a guy. I think it's Rouge or some shit. That's what his fucking name is. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep saying Stryker. But he's like I'm assuming he's like a demon. Because he even says lived for centuries. So I was thinking at first, like, is he like a vampire? I'm like, no, he's not a vampire. He's like, because he was walking during the day. So he's like some kind of demon. Which is stupid. Because now it's just another like superhero light film. Fucking Crow is not a superhero film. I don't look at it as it, I guess you could say that maybe there's little elements. I know it's based off a comic, and maybe in the comics, some of the bad guys have powers, but I don't like that in the film. Sorry, this is the one element reason I think the film's better than the comic. I don't like the element of the bad guys having powers. It was just a simple revenge story, the Crow getting his revenge. But there's like 40 minutes of nothing because we got to see Shelly get arrested and she has like a bunch of pills and shit. And then this is where we meet Eric in this drug facility who all he does is just get picked on and just shit on by everybody. I don't know why. I don't know why they had to make... Like, Eric's just constantly just shit on. I don't necessarily need to see Eric's life. We got a lot of it in the original. In the original, you saw it in flashbacks. He plays guitar, so you see he's in a band, but you don't actually see him actually as Eric. You see him once he becomes pretty much the Crow relatively quick in the original. It's breakneck speed, that original film. If you watch it, it goes. This is just a bunch of nothing. There's a lot of just talking for 20 minutes, 20-minute dialogue that doesn't fucking matter. You're just like, whatever. And fucking... Then, yeah, Eric and Shelly get together, and they have zero chemistry. I fucking all. They have no chemistry. It feels forced. And then yeah, so she sees one of the guys who work for Stryker, the lady, I think it's like this old woman who works for Stryker, comes to pick her up, and then she and Eric run away. They escape, and then basically they go on a 2 week drug binge. It really, that's what it. I'm not kidding you. That's what it is. Like she goes to like her friend's house. They just start fucking, and they're in the bath together. There's a scene you see Eric straight up smoking a joint. It's not a cigarette. I can tell. I know what joints look like, and it's like, what the fuck? Why is Eric smoking a joint? I'm a stoner, guys. I don't. The whole point of Shelley being this, she was almost angelic because she was this mother, pseudo mother to this little girl who's not in this film at all. So, like, I would argue there's just no heart because you don't care about these characters. It's these characters that just go on a drug binge for 2 weeks. It is bad. I'm like, what the fuck? Why did you do that? Oh, it is fucking infuriating. Like, that is what they did. I mean, I know that's what they were going to do, but I think it's a case of seeing it versus just reading it, the leaks, right? Because, I've read the leaks of Rise of Palpatine. It was worse watching it in real time. That's what that felt. That's what this is to me. They're on a drug binge. They're drinking fucking champagne and fancy alcohol, doing like ecstasy. They're going to raves. It's fuck. I'm like, it is so absurd. Like, I'm laughing because it's like, whenever I say this shit, I'm like, this is real. They're actually doing this. They missed the entire point of the original Shelley and Eric and just making them a bunch of degenerate druggies who go to clubs. And even then, so I guess some guy was like a friend of hers he's a pointless character. You only see him this scene and you see a scene later. Warns her, I guess is warning her that fucking Stryker's people are coming for her. So she takes them back to their house. They're kissing. They're on the up from the elevator. He's looking like a shitty ass SoundCloud rapper. I'm like, what are we doing? I can't take this shit serious. Seriously, man. It is like insane how they've fucking. I almost want to say the word raped this fucking the original, but I don't want to use that's too hyperbolic. But they have really bastardized what made making Shelley, and that is I'm going to be repeating that a lot because to me that is what fundamentally destroys this movie. Making them degenerates you don't care about, so you don't care when they die. So now we're on the death scene, and their death scene is very it's shitty. They just get killed with bags. She just gets choked out with a bag. And you're not like, oh, the bad guys. So you're ready for the bad guys to get theirs. You don't have that. That's the other fundamental issue with this movie. You want the bad guys to get their fucking comeuppance in the original. Like, you're ready for these guys to fucking get theirs. And when it starts off with Tintin, he goes out pretty brutally. A bunch of knives in his chest and all organs. Fucking Fun Boy gets fucking shot, killed with morphine. And then, speaking of which, making them druggies defeats the whole purpose. The scene with Eric, one of probably my favorite scenes in cinema, is when he has Darla, the little girl's mom. When he grabs her hand and is purging the morphine out of her system and telling her to go be a mother. That scene is so powerful. You take that away when you make them fucking druggies. It's just, you watch that scene and then you watch them just being druggies, doing a bunch of ecstasy, just on a fucking crack binge for 2 weeks. It is like a parody. It is a fucking parody. And so, okay, what happens next? Okay, so she dies. The bad guys leave. He wakes up pretty much immediately. So, you don't feel his rage because you don't feel like they were, for one, you just don't feel like they're in love. They were like fucking for 2 weeks, for essentially. It never felt like they were, like it was lust. And that's the exact opposite. Shelley and Eric genuinely loved each other. Even the scene when he goes to the pawn shop and is grabbing the rings and he finds the ring that he proposed to Shelley with, and he has those flashbacks of the good times, just them, being a couple. You feel like even just those little bit of flashbacks, you feel like they fucking love each other. I don't feel that in this. It is, God, I don't know. I'm gonna repeat myself. Who is this for? Not for the original people, and there's no new audience that's gonna watch this. Like, I don't know what the fuck they thought this was gonna make money. How? I guess they thought maybe throw Bill Skarsgård in there, but anyway, he kills the guy, and even the scene he kills the guy, he feels like a bitch. He goes to his friend, "Oh, I need a gun, bro." Like, even though compared to the original, how he gets weapons, it's just he has no confidence. He feels like a mopey little bitch this entire film, and it is sad to watch. I'm like, I don't know if I don't want to say this film I don't think is woke, but if I had to say the woke thing, kind of is that they didn't want to make Eric too masculine, and they didn't want Shelley to be fridge, so they had to give her this stupid backstory we didn't fucking need, which ended up actually destroying her character because you just made her a degenerate druggie who turns out actually killed somebody, even under basically mind control. Doesn't fucking matter. She killed somebody, which made Eric question his whole love for her. When he could have just her death, it's like these SJW types don't understand storytelling, because that's always been a thing, and not just with women, by the way. But anyway, Punisher's entire family, obviously Bruce's family, Superman's entire fucking planet, Uncle Ben, who's a man, by the way. Uncle Ben's a man. Ugh, fucking. Anyway. So all they did so it can give Shelley this shitty backstory that wasn't needed, which actually in all it does is just destroy her character. Bastardize her character, you make her this druggie who killed people, or killed a person, who you have no sympathy for. There's none. I don't feel that sense of like she felt like when I saw someone mention she was an angelic figure in a review of basically reviewing this movie, and I'm like, they're right. It really is that, man. Like, she was an angelic figure in that original, and that's what made it like her death so tragic, and Eric's, but hers too. She goes out very violently. The things that bad guys do to her, those fucking assholes do to her in the original. You don't get that in this. He's just killing people. So he kills a couple of his people. What else does he do? He goes back to his friend's house, and I guess the bad guys find him because they're ordered by Stryker to find him and bring him to him. So they fucking have him down, and the guy ends up shooting him, but he doesn't come back because by this point he finds out Shelley killed somebody. So it's so bad. So he goes to this in-between world, and the spirit guide guy who has no character, he's just there to give basically exposition dumps about like death and all that. It's so stupid. We don't need to see this. You overcomplicated it. Complicated it more than it needed to be. That original Crow is it's the epitome of a simple film. It's a simple revenge story. They don't go too into they go a little bit into it, with the Top Dollar's, I guess, mistress, the Asian lady. So you get a little bit of it, but they don't go too into it. They don't explain it. Eric just wakes up. They don't have they have this spirit guide in this in-between world, which is just bad CGI, and it just looks like it's just this attempt at being it looks like it should be a music video. That's the other problem. This film is almost shot like a music video. It has no actual cohesiveness. It just seems like it's just scenes strewn together. Oh man. So I took me 2 days to review this film, man. Man, I just was so pissed. I had to get my thoughts together, and the fact that like this is what I mean, I knew this was gonna be bad, but I just didn't think it'd be this fucking bad. So they, so Eric makes a deal that if he gets basically he wants to right the wrong, that he'll give his life and basically I guess stay in purgatory. Even though they say he's supposed says go to hell, he doesn't end up going to hell. He just stays in purgatory. uh, and she can be brought back, which is stupid. So that happens, kills the bad guys, which I'll admit when he shot the guy and you see like his head explode, like okay, they're not holding back on the gore, but it's once again it's pointless gore when there's no story to go with it. Like when the guys died brutally in that original Crow film, it hits. You want these fucking assholes to get it, man. You don't get that feeling in this. It's just guys dying. So he starts killing. They go to the opera house. This is where you get the main action sequence where like I said, there's some cool looking kills, but it's like I don't care. It's just cool visual stuff to me at that point. It's just cool visual shit, but the film is shit. It doesn't matter. You don't want the guys to get there, so he kills everybody there. Then he gets the location of Stryker, goes to his house. He's expecting him. They have boring back and forth. They fight. The fight's terrible. He manages to get in his head and tries to take control of Eric, but I guess the power's too strong. I don't fucking know. The power's too strong for something, so he's not able to do it, and then Eric kills him. Whatever. And it's like, you just... The fact you don't care that he kills the bad guy, or the bad guy gets his, it just doesn't matter. It's just, okay, the bad guy's dead now. Okay. End of film. This film, it's paced terribly. You don't care. The bad guy's Stryker's barely in this fucking movie. He's in the beginning. He shows up at some point in the middle, and then this is it. He's barely in the fucking film, man. It's... But obviously what I talked about with Shelly and Eric. So turns out Shelly wakes up and Eric's just dead. So it's almost like it never happened kind of thing. So they make it look like she basically just overdosed. It's so bad. And then she goes on to become a singer, and Eric's saying some shit about we'll be together. It's like, go fuck yourself, Phil. Fuck these writers. Fuck who made this film. Fuck everybody greenlit this shit. The fact you destroy Shelly and Eric so we can get this shit, there was no reason for it. Why? Why does this film have to exist? And it's like I saw this coming when they announced this like a year ago. Or when they announced it a year ago, we're gonna give this an attempt again, guys, and this time we're actually gonna make the movie. And this is what we fucking get. And now look at yourself, Lionsgate. This movie's gonna bomb. Now you have 2 bombs under you. Go fuck yourself. This is what you fucking get. Get like what Joker said in the Joker. You get what you fucking deserve. Yeah, guys. Yeah, this film really pissed me off. It is just a lifeless piece of shit. It reminded me, I was talking to people about this. It reminds me of the fucking bad, lifeless Psycho remake we got in 1998. Granted, that was a scene-for-scene remake, but in the sense of it's just as lifeless. There's no energy to it. This one's worse, though, because obviously what it does to the characters. When you destroy the fundamental point of the entire film, this is what you get. It's incoherent. The music has no point to it. Like, the scene where it plays Enya is, like, I think when he basically puts a little bit of the makeup on. Only Time, I think. Is it End of Time or Only Time? One of those starts playing. And the soundtrack is abysmal. The city's abysmal. It just looks like generic city number 4000. You know, the city had style in that original film. Like that pan shot you get of the city before we, obviously we get to the murder site. The city had character. You don't get that in this film, man. It's just generic fucking city. Wasted Bill Skarsgård's time. He doesn't, you know, this is a case of a good actor being in a terrible film who doesn't act. He did act well. There's good actors in bad films, but they can still put on a good performance. Tim Roth in the 2001 Planet of the Apes movie, he still put on a good performance even in a trash film. Not in this case. Bill Skarsgård was just bad. I didn't know what he was even trying to go for. Emo, mopey, SoundCloud rapper guy. It seemed like every time he's trying to speak, it was almost like as a poet in a way. It was bad. It was fucking Shelley's a bad actress. FK Twigs is an actress, clearly shows. And what they do with their characters, that is fundamentally what kills this film. Above every other fucking negative it had, like the bad action, you don't care about the bad guys getting theirs. That's actually another lethal cut to this movie. You want the worst to happen to those original bad guys in that original film. You don't get that here. They just died and like whatever. Okay. And you also you want Eric to get his revenge. And you're like, yeah, Eric, you get your revenge. There's not one moment in this where I was like that. It didn't matter, man. This is one of those paint by the numbers just movie that you just threw the name The Crow on. There's barely even a crow in the fucking film. The only time you really see crows is literally in that purgatory world. And that actor who played Stryker from X2, in X2, or X-Men Origins Wolverine, he's also 30 Days a Night. He's a good actor. Has no presence in this. He's barely in it. So yeah, this film is trash. This is the worst film easily of the year. -1 out of 10. Do not recommend it. I'm loving that it's bombing, and I want to see how big the second week fall is going to be. Because I think it's going to be huge. But anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap it here. Either tonight or tomorrow, if I don't have to work, I will be reviewing The Last Boy Scout. I had to put this review first just because, that came out. It was up already, so I figured it made more sense to push that review first. So, but anyways, guys, I need to get this off my chest. Fuck this pile of shit. Get fucked Lionsgate. Fuck the hack writers who wrote this movie. I normally don't like going at the actual people who wrote shit. No, they can go fuck themselves here. This never should have fucking happened. And I saw it coming. And exactly how it played. I predicted how exactly it played out, and it played out exactly like the way it is. So, anyways, guys, tomorrow or tonight, Last Boy Scout review. I'm actually going to do it tonight. And then tomorrow I want to do Fixing the Alien franchise. There'll be another discussion-like video. And then I'll figure out what to review Tuesday. But anyways, guys, talk to y'all later. Pin Down podcast link will be in the description. It won't be a stream next Saturday, but we'll be doing predictions for Bash in Berlin sometime this week. It'll upload Saturday. Anyways, guys, talk to y'all later.